What's up, guys? NorbCam coming at you. Looking back at the Seahawks win over the 49ers. Coming at you from the NorbCam Hunt's Plumbing and Mechanical Studios. Now, before the game, on my way into CenturyLink, I did a video. I didn't post it here on YouTube, but some of you may have seen it live on Facebook. I did a keys to the game saying what we needed to do as a team to win this game against the 49ers. And I made several points, which I'm proud to say a lot of those came true. So I'm going to just kind of bring those up and then compare to how the results were. So here's the first one. Keys to this game. I'm convinced that today we're going to show some flashes of what our offense really is made of. I would like to see Seattle do a fast passing game like they did against Miami coming out of the gate. A lot of quick short drops, quick passes, spreading it around to different receivers, and just get small chunks here and there. Just keep the ball moving. So that worked out pretty much as I had said it probably would, which was that our offense would finally get on track, would finally bounce back, kind of get rid of the anomaly that was the first two games of the season. And against a 49er defense, we just don't have a line as good as the first two opponents that we faced. Seattle came out and way exceeded my expectations. 37 points to San Francisco's 18. 418 total yards to San Francisco's 254. Time of possession, 35, almost 36 minutes to 24. 18 first downs compared to 12. The quarterback spread the ball out to 6 different receivers for 22 receptions, a total of 291 passing yards. Russell was 15 of 23, 243 yards, 10.6 yards per throw, 1 touchdown, and a quarterback rating of 114.9. I'll take that any day. Boykin didn't do too bad himself, 7 of 9 for 66 yards, 7.2 yards per throw, 1 touchdown, but 1 interception. Quarterback rating of 94.2. So, as an offense, yeah, we bounced back and did what we needed to do against a team like the 49ers. Next point. The running game will improve, get Christian Michael 20 carries, and if that's the case, I think we'll have a pretty decent running total. I call that one 20 carries exactly. 106 yards, his best performance of his career, first touchdown of his career, 5.3 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, along of 41 yards. As a team, we had 31 rushes for 127 yards, 4.1 average as a team. I think it's safe to say that our line definitely put some holes out there for the running backs to run through, and yeah, the running game looked pretty darn good. Next one. I want to see Baldwin come out like he did in the first game. He had a lot of great receptions. He was a little bit not as involved in the last game, and Baldwin's better than that, so I want to see him get a few more touches. Doug Baldwin, our best receiver, far and away. I mean, last year he proved it, got the big contract, and he's showing once again why he was rewarded with that contract, because he is definitely our most consistent, best clutch receiver that we have. Baldwin, leading receiver of the game, had 164 yards on 8 carries, 20.5 yard average per reception, 1 touchdown, and a long of 59. Those are outstanding numbers, and he had first down conversions, big pass play, on a play that I thought for sure we were going to be throwing, running a draw play and just giving it up. Russell threw almost 50 yards. Beautiful throw to get deep into San Francisco territory. Breakout game again, so glad to see Baldwin back in the mix. Next one. Feed Jimmy the ball. He's open. I just think they need to look at him as first a little bit more often. Get him in a rhythm. At least we're seeing a trend from 1 reception, 3 receptions. Maybe today we get 5, 6, 7 receptions. Didn't I call that one too? I know we've all been saying it. Where's Jimmy Graham in the mix and all this stuff? Why don't they throw to Jimmy Graham? Could not figure out why we were not doing that. Well, maybe that's just part of the process. They're just slowly working him in. And exactly, like I said, first game was 1, second game was 3. This game, I said 5, 6, 7. He had exactly 6 receptions, 100 yards, 16.7 yards per reception, 1 touchdown along of 40 yards, his first touchdown of the season, and that was awesome to see. I mean, it's amazing, when you think about it, it was only 6 catches, but it's double of what he had last game. But it's amazing how those 3 catches, what a difference it makes. Of course, when 2 of those catches are a touchdown and an amazing jump ball thrown up in the air by Russell Wilson on a free play because of the offside by the defense. To see Jimmy Graham go up, just grab that ball and yank it away from the defender that's why you got him, because nobody can match up his size, his strength, his basketball background. You just put the ball up high. It doesn't matter if he's well covered because the defender is going to be outmatched physically. So you just put the ball up high where only he can get it, and he's going to make catches like that all day long. So I agree with what he said. He's only going to get better, and he's only getting better as every game progresses. So I think pretty soon, the people who keep saying, train Jimmy Graham for an offensive lineman, since the beginning, I've been a big fan of this move. He was our leading receiver last year before the injury, and it just takes time for things to gel. And I think it's pretty clear that the chemistry they have in the Seahawks with Russell and him and the rest of the receivers, I think he's going to slowly evolve into that target that we all hoped he would be when they picked him up a year ago. So, switching over to the defense. How did the defense do in my prediction of how it would go on in the 49er game?
Defense, two things we need to see improvement on. Quarterback pressure, and we got to get our first turnover today.
As far as the defense, we didn't exactly get great quarterback pressure. We had no sacks on the day, but I felt that we had enough pressure so that he didn't get to sit back there, Blaine Gabbert, to just sit there and kind of wait for guys to get open. And so he never really, I thought, got comfortable in the pocket. Now, at the same time, they don't have much of a receiving core, so San Francisco doesn't really have much of a long threat to really worry about guys getting open downfield. So, I think most of their stuff was kind of short passes anyway. And so the challenge wasn't as difficult as we will see with some of the upcoming teams. However, we did get our first interception, our first turnover. Granted, we gave up to ourselves in the game, so we were still in the negative in terms of the turnover ratio. We had ourselves fumble, the Jimmy Graham fumble as he was reaching to try to stretch one of his catches, and then the Trevon Boykin interception. Those were the two turnovers we had to the one interception by Bobby Wagner, which did lead to a field goal. And so that's all right by me because that game was so out of balance, and had it been a closer game, we'd probably be talking about those turnovers. But as it was, it didn't really make that much of a difference. But it was just good to see the defense finally get one because they've been overdue. And usually when you get one, they tend to come in bunches, as they say. So hopefully that'll be the case. The Jets last week threw 6 or 8 interceptions, some crazy amount. So that's a good sign. If we can get rolling on some more turnovers and Fitzpatrick can do that again, even just a fraction of that, that'll be a big help to the game next week. Something I didn't talk about that I thought was a huge impact in the game were special teams. Tyler Lockett finally got one of those big returns we've been looking for. He had a 62-yard exciting punt return, made the first guy miss, and then he just found a gap and just took off and almost took it to the house. Had to make a move on the stretch after juking the punter, and Pursuit was able to catch up to him. But it was a great return, a very exciting moment in the game. So it's good to see Tyler in good health and full speed, doing what he does best. Since kickoff returns are a rare thing to see these days, so punt returns are one place where get Tyler back there doing his thing. That can turn the game real quick. Then, of course, we take for granted John Ryan and Hauschka. Those guys are so solid. Hauschka was 3 for 3 on field goals. Always kicking the ball deep where they need to put it on kickoffs. John Ryan had a 51-yard average, 57 long for the day. I mean, that's just solid numbers, and we never have to worry about them. A lot of teams, kickers are so shaky and questionable. The Browns had a chance to win this past weekend with a field goal right down the middle and shanked it left and doing what the Browns do best. Just can't get out of their own way. So we're very fortunate to have Hauschka and Ryan back there. Solid on special teams. All right, so the only negative, the elephant in the room, is, of course, the Russell Wilson injury coming out of that game. Just when we thought it seemed like through the game he was looking more and more mobile, like that ankle was maybe a forgotten issue, he goes down to a questionable horse collar call. I looked at it afterwards and it's like, yeah, not really a horse collar. Of course, I was happy we got it, but really not a good call. Horse collars should be, by definition, where you pull a guy down from behind like that, and really he was falling forward and the guy was pulling him this way, which really is not a horse collar. So there should not have been a penalty, and we should not have continued our drive on that play. But we'll take it any way we can, because Lord knows we get our share of bad calls against us. So Russell, there's a big debate out there going on. Really, the debate's been going on since last game, but Russell apparently just had a sprained MCL, I believe. And so while it looked really bad on TV, it really could have been a heck of a lot worse. So my understanding is that he is good to go. He is physically able to play in this game. And Russell, he's going to try to play unless someone pulls him off the field kicking and screaming. Another question is, should he be out there or not? I hear a lot of people calling in shows and just social media, people making the argument that Russell should be sitting, that we should be putting in Boykin in there because he can do just as good a job as Russell. My take on it is, if Russell can play, you put him in there. when I compare the two, Boykin can run better at this moment than Russell. Even in preseason, he looked a slight bit faster than Russell. But you don't want to be having that be your key to winning the game. You know, while Russell's mobility is such a big part of his game, that's not what his game is built on. It's built on his ability to find the open receiver and hit them with very deadly accuracy. And his mobility allows him to stretch out a play and give receivers more time to get open, and for Russell to improvise, and they go to this what they call the scramble drill, where the receivers just start running around and just hit somebody. The problem with Boykin, and I think he's talented, I'm glad we have him as a backup, but the problem is he's not as accurate, period, as Russell Wilson is. And it's easy to get caught up in the, oh, Boykin's just as good feeling, but you just watch enough of the preseason, and there were a lot of throws that he was pretty off on that, you know, should have been made. So he doesn't have the consistency that he needs to have in order to be a solid backup. You know, my point is, obviously, if Russell can't play, well, you put him in and you know, you give him every shot to succeed. But if Russell can play, you know, you play him. I mean, the guy has shown, even through these last two injuries, that the guy is able to bounce back. And he's a tough, solid machine. And so, unless he really just can't go, you put him in there, and he gives you your best chance to win, in my opinion. So, I'm going to talk later about the New York Jets game. Of course, I predict the Seahawks are going to win, but I may even have a little chat with a New York fan about this game this Sunday, and maybe put a little friendly wager on it. So we'll see how that goes this week. But before I sign off, one last little note. We haven't talked much about them, but the Mariners, as we stand today, those Mariners, they are just an emotional brain tease. You think they've got it, and then they lose it, and then they've got it, they're back, and then, oh no, they're out of it, and then they're in it, and then they're out. Well, with a handful of games left in the season, the Mariners are only, I believe, 6 games left. They're 2 games back in the wild card. And so tonight is a very, very, very important game against the Houston Astros with Felix on the mound. So this is practically like playoff baseball right now, because we're playing for our playoff lives. So for all of you guys, like myself, I just wanted them to be relevant through August. Well, they're relevant through September as we're inching into October, which is about as good as you could have hoped for this team to do. And they're this close, and if we can just stretch it out and steal some wins here and a little help from some other teams, wouldn't that be exciting if come October Seattle finds itself sneaking into a wild card playoff game. First time in 15 years it would be the case. So let's go Seahawks, go Mariners, go Felix, and let's get a bunch of wins this week. All right, that's all I got for you. I'll be in touch some more this week. Keep watching. For those of you who haven't subscribed yet on YouTube, please check out my YouTube channel, NorbCam. Subscribe, like this video, comment, and do all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Go Hawks.
Nothing I can hear but all of your fans. Nothing but the best fans up in the stands. Come on. If you love the Hawks, then put up your hands. We are gonna be the Super Bowl champions. We got the best